Travels of Terror, Strange and Spooky Spots Across America. The Bram Stoker Award-nominated horror duo of Kelly Florence and Meg Hafdahl is ready to take everyone on a journey across America's creepiest dark tourism locations. Grab your flashlight, garlic, and ghost hunting equipment. We're taking you on the ultimate road trip of the spookiest places around the United States.
We have two events to announce now, because we have the October 11th event at the West Theater in Duluth. Laugh Till You Scream at 9 p.m. It is a combination of stand-up comedy and horror shorts, as well as an October 6th event at the Woodbury 10 at 6 p.m. And it'll be Farx Brothers Presents Pilots. We're going to show Canusa Street and, I believe, a Hitch List, as well as some of our shorts. And Zach will be there, and I will be there as the filmmakers, and I think we'll have the same we have the same comedians committed.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we.
I want you to be like more happy with your writing right now.
Oh God! Thank you.
Is there anything else that we can address with that? Because you need to be writing more and consistently.
You're not writing enough as an artist.
Well, yeah, especially since like the Screencraft horror competition deadline is October 31st. The final deadline is October 31st.
The end of next month?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, are we at the midpoint?
Yeah. I guess we are. Yeah. No. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, like,
none of us know.
It's a toss up between like, I don't want to just spew out bullshit.
You won't.
But I also don't want to,
God, you're a good
like,
mom at that.
Sorry, no, but he won't.
I don't believe that either.
Wait, what?
I don't believe he'll spew out bullshit. Like, but she said it because she's a good mom, whereas I wouldn't say it. I need you to build it in yourself.
Yeah.
You're relying too much on your ego, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm thinking about like what would look good if I were reading it.
Who cares?
Well, yeah, but I have to put myself in the shoes of people who are going to read it.
No, you don't. No, you do not have to put yourself in anybody's shoes. You just write a story.
But I have to think about people who are going to...
No.
I do, though.
No,
I feel I do.
I know, but I'm telling you, don't. Your job is to make the art. And then when the art's made, then you can, like, clean it up. But, like, you should not be even thinking about anybody reading it. Like, I don't... Like when I wrote, not that I sound like a know-it-all though.
No,
I don't want to come off like
he
that.
knows this because he's made shorts so many times.
But you don't know it in your soul. You know, like I feel like you're not in.
He's not hitting flow state, as you just.
You're not hitting your flow.
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell myself just don't fucking worry about it. Just write the scene, like get what's in the outline out on the page, and then move on.
Have you ever written without an outline?
What's that?
Have you ever written without an outline?
Do this to him.
I'm thinking back. So I wrote, yes. I mean, but like this is like 2000. So this is 24 years
before
ago.
the towers fell.
So I like never use an outline. Yeah. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Right? I usually write and then later I'm like, okay, would that fit into an outline? Move it around a little bit and then it's done. Everybody's brain is different, but maybe you don't need an outline.
I'm big on outlines because here's the thing. I don't like the writing is like let's say you want to build your own house. Like I personally have a dream. Like I would love to build my own house someday. Mm-hmm. But do I want to like start hammering nails and 2x4s and like shit like that and then decide I want to change it and then rip it all out? No.
Well, building a house is logical. And art's not logical.
Well, but there's a certain you're nodding your head, but no, there's a structure to screenplay.
I'm just excited by the bait.
Like
we're a debate show. It's movie baiters.
Like there are certain things like I don't want to just start typing like. I view writing as like the delivery medium rather than I view story and the actual final like here's the thing I hand off to people to read as separate things. Like the story is the story, and the script is here's the
it's a technical outline. Medium. It's a technical document that people need to use who are technical. Like
so I want to know like I know some people like just sitting down and writing for the fun of writing and like I like typing and whatever.
Who is that?
And that's fine. Some people do it. The people who write memoirs about growing up in Minnesota and like, oh yeah, it was cold.
Gosh.
And sometimes I had to shovel the driveway.
Yeah, but you want people to see your movie.
What's that?
You both want people to see your movies.
Well, yeah, I'm saying some people like there are people who like writing for the sake of writing, and they like, oh look what I wrote. I wrote about shoveling snow in the winter in Minnesota.
Oh,
like
this person sounds horrible.
Great. Well, it's just like
He's
you know
not
the
a real
shit.
person. He's making them up in his head.
No, but this is
no.
Look at like indie presses in Minnesota, and that's what people write. They write their memoirs about it being cold. Oh my God! Sometimes it was 30 degrees.
Do you think that would happen if you let yourself go? You would start writing about shoveling snow?
Well, no. I guess the difference the difference is that those people like writing just for the sake of writing. I write to deliver the idea. Like it's I don't want to sit and write. I don't want to write 120 pages and then off the cuff and then rewrite every single one of those pages 10 times. If I can do it 5 times because I outlined beforehand, like I don't want to find the story while writing the story. The story
that's
is
the most fun. That's so fun.
Oh, I enjoyed finding the story when I was outlining.
Okay.
But I was doing it in outline form, and now I have an outline. I'm like, here's the story, but now I'm thinking about every little detail.
Yeah.
And for bringing each scene to life, because the outline is a scene by scene outline. It's not like you know. And I just get very hung up on like wanting it to be not. And again, not like I'm trying to avoid having to ever rewrite it. Like I don't want to I don't want to write it and then never have to touch it again. That would be ludicrous. But like I don't want to. No, not that ludicrous. The real one.
Yeah.
But like, whoa. But like, 'cause, you know, I've gone back and forth. Like, okay, I'm gonna do vomit draft for a while, and then I have a bunch of scenes in a row where it's like, well, this scene sucks. This scene sucks. Like, I know this one can be better. Like, I know they're all gonna be better after I go and revisit them, but like on different levels. There's a whole gradation where it's like this one I feel good about. I know I'll change it later. After the draft is done, I pass through again, but I feel good about it now, and that gives me momentum going into the next one. But other ones where I just kind of just spew it out, and this is with an outline. Like the outline is like if I get new ideas, I'll change the outline by all means. I'm not against changing the outline.
Could you give an example of that you've done recently?
Of what?
Where you've got an idea, and you've changed the outline because. Chelsie, you don't know this, but I have read the outline at different phases. It's in what is officially phase 3, correct?
I guess, yeah, you call it 3.
Okay, I have read 2B, or not to be yet. And sorry, don't
2B?
No, phase 3. I did a Hamlet joke in there. Shakespeare, yeah.
He missed that?
No, I don't think he did. Thankfully, he missed you when he did the hand gesture. But I have read the outline, so I will be able to be a validation point of something where you got a new idea from your script writing, which is part of phase 3 of his outline. I know the process, okay?
Sure.
This is very,
there are plenty of new ideas, but not big enough to go back and change the outline for.
Okay.
What would incorporate it into...
So none of those ideas have occurred yet?
No, I'm saying they've occurred, but nothing has been big enough. If I had to, the biggest change was back when I had to go back and remove, like I told you about this when I realized the first act had kind of 2 inciting incidents instead of 1.
You did tell me about
and
this.
Going and remove that was the last time I ever actually went back and changed the outline. Everything aside from that was like I'm making this right in the script. I'm not going back and editing the outline. I'm just doing it right in the script.
So I read the outline like 2 years ago, and I've been like, "Bitch, get me that script."
It was not 2 years ago.
It was a year and a half. Well, okay.
No, it was not 2 years ago.
Would you agree? It was a year ago?
It was maybe a year ago. Maybe a year ago that the outline was like finished. Maybe a year ago.
Hey, Kirk, remember when we watched? So, would you agree, Kirk, that these two have been debating a little bit in the past part of the section? I think we hit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the debate we watched last night when you came over?
Oh yeah, the political one.
No. The governmental one that is consequential.
Oh, it's not political. It's governmental.
I'm dating the episode so people understand. I want to be burdened by the context this exists in.
Hi.
Okay.
Do you think one of them is winning the debate more than the other one, Kirk?
I don't think it's a
no,
debate.
I
I'm
don't
trying
think
to
it's a
open
debate
his
yet.
soul
Maybe,
up to the creative
yeah.
process.
Because I feel like maybe Nick is. I think you are too much in your head, and then Chelsea's trying to
Well, you
give a different approach to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it would be great to move faster. Fuck you. It'd be
No, I was
great to
telling
move.
Chelsea. Sorry.
I don't know what you're saying.
You'll listen later.
Keep in mind, I'm a first-time writer, so I might be wrong.
You're not though. You
I
kept
just don't think
rewriting,
I
and you
am.
went from 140 to 118 to now you're somewhere in the 90s to 100s, and that's not nothing, you know.
Yeah.
We're talking page count to those listening and not following. Everyone else is going to talk now.
I think everyone's brain is different too. Like some people are like outline people and then some people aren't. I was just saying the way that you described how you feel when you write, it didn't sound joyful. So I was like, maybe you're less of an outline person.
Well, for story, like this story has there was a lot of like there's a mystery element, and I'm big on like when I watch a movie and there are like red herrings for the mystery, and then the red herrings are like cast aside and you find out what really was going on, and then the red herrings don't make sense. For just an example of like, why was this person suspicious if it was a red herring and they didn't have anything to do with what's going on? So I'm big on it making sense. That's a hang up for me, but like I'm gonna embrace that hang up. I'm never gonna like say, okay, unless someone who's paying me a lot of money says don't worry about it making sense, I'm gonna make it make sense.
Gotcha.
So until that happens, I'm going to make it make sense. And there was a big challenge in the outlining phase was like, there's a lot of stuff going on. I need to there's stuff that needs to be teed up in the first act, not necessarily the first act, but at least the first half. And when all is revealed, does this still make sense when all is revealed? That was a big part of it. So it took a while to crack all of that. And then, I got to a point where I was happy with it. And I think maybe, I don't know if it's because, it's my first time jumping back into like writing the script, like for the first time. Like I used to, the last time I wrote a script, I was using Microsoft Word in 2007. Now I'm in final draft and I'm like, oh man, I'm writing the actual script now. This is weird. That was like, I don't know, like there's a certain pressure to like, I've spent all this time trying to make it good. Now I got to make it good at this level. I got to make it good at the story level, and now at the individual
The
scene
dialogue level. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, not just dialogue, but like
scene direction. Obviously.
you can look at an outline. So I have my outline, right? And like there are still a number of ways you can interpret that outline and parse it and break it out into a fully written scene. There are still a lot of different ways to go with it, is what I'm saying. The story is there. The story has not changed. Any of these other ideas that have come along since then are not changing the story. They are just kind of like they're the cherry on the sundae. They're things that will like enhance, but it's not changing the story.
Condiments.
Sure, whatever you want to call it, mustard.
I was listening to your. No, I think is a cherry on a sundae not a condiment to the sundae?
Maybe it is. I
dressing.
don't care if
It's
it
a
is.
dressing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
So I'm saying the story is there. Story is separate for me. Like, and story is locked until some brilliant idea hits me, and I will gladly change it. I will go back to the outline if it requires me to do so and change it if something hits me. But I'm happy with the story. It's just like really wanting to take each scene and bring it.
It's got to be perfect.
Not perfect on the first try, but just good and not
good?
bad. If I feel bad about it, that weighs me down going to the next one.
I think no matter what, you can always like make a script better too.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I think like, yeah, it is hard to be like, it's done. It is done. It is time. So that's kind of why, and I guess it depends on what your goals are with your script too, right?
Yeah.
Like my goal is to make a movie. So I set myself a deadline to produce or to film it spring, summer 2025. And I did that because I'd be working on it for another 10 years, because like as I grow, experience new things, as we all grow, we're going to like think of, oh, this would be good. This would be cool. Or like even when it's filmed, I'm sure I'll watch it and be like, oh, I should have done that. And I think like setting deadlines is really helpful, depending on. You probably do that though, right? You said, do you give yourself deadlines?
You had to for Z-Fest.
Yeah.
For Z-Fest, but like the closest,
and the Screencraft thing you said.
Yeah, that's like the most solid deadline I have right now.
Yeah.
And
are you trying to sell the script?
Well, it's either or. Like if someone came along and who was like WGA signed or whatever, and was going to pay WGA minimums for it, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but ideally, I want to like maintain control over it and produce it.
Yeah.
And I'd rather produce it and have a film that can, however well maybe it doesn't do well at all, but if it does well, you have a little source of income for years to come. Based on the success of the film and ownership of something, rather than just here you go.
It will do well.
That's my thing. Here you go. It's yours now.
I think like you're being too humble too. Like you produce it, it will do well, and you'll make good money off of it.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, you will.
You guys are great. This is fantastic.
Well, I'm saying like it will do well. You will make good money off of it because you will put in the work. And it'll be great.
That would be great.
It will be great.
It will be great. I will try to.
It will be great.
Adopt that way.
Yeah, it will be great because you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. You're
Yeah.
supposed to make this. You're supposed to produce it, and it's gonna be great because.
That is interesting you mentioned that, because like there are things that happen, like there are days where I'm like, man, I know I should be writing right now, and I'm like, here's part of it too. Like back when I was writing scripts back in the old days, I was working outside all day. I was doing like lawn care, and then I'd come home and I'd write. And now I work at a computer for my day job, 8 hours out of the day. And now, so that's a bit of a wrinkle, because it's like I'm doing this, I'm sitting in the same place, and now I have to transition to working on corporate video and whatever to now this, and it's just like I get restless, and I'm like I can't. That's a big wrinkle for me. I think that's one of the most glaring differences for me compared to writing scripts back then and now this one. But on days where I'm like, oh man, I don't know, like I want to do this, I want to sit down and try to do this, but I feel like I can't.
Yeah, you can't listen to your feelings.
There are things that come along that
feelings don't matter.
And there are things that, like, I'll be listening to whatever is going on around. Like, if it's not the radio or like the live stream of like news or whatever, something comes along that there's like a detail in it that relates to like my story, and like it's the character name, or it's a topic or something like that.
Or I send you something, which I've done twice.
Well, you're just telling me where's your page count. That's all.
I ask that in addition to when I send you.
But I'm talking about like, stuff that comes across a character name or a detail, something that definitely triggers my brain to be like, wow, that's straight out of my story. And I wonder, like, is that am I supposed to? Is that a sign telling me get your ass in gear and start writing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need to finish this fucking thing.
It's not, and it's not based on like when you feel like you have to write. Like you have to hold yourself accountable till it's like it's your job to write.
Yeah.
And it's like once you sit down and start writing, you will feel like writing once you start.
Yeah.
Like you have to like just the starting. What do they call that? Every writer has it. To sit down and start, they call it something.
Writer's block?
They're like their ritual. Ritual?
It's actually called something because every writer has it. The process of sitting down and starting to write is really hard. And most writers don't do it because that's when it's like, I don't feel like writing. There's other things I could be doing. And It's actually called something. I'm annoyed that I
Google
can't.
it, and I'm going to ask him a question.
Yeah,
Nick,
do it.
Nick
Yeah.
Farx, if I got you a pad and paper so that when you're outside, I mean some sort of like leather-bound thing with a nice like writing utensil.
Leather-bound books and mahogany.
No, but if I gave you something that you could easily put in your ass pocket when you were walking out and trying to get solicited for, you know, you know what I'm talking. You know where you go walking along the beach, and then you know the story.
Oh, I've been sexually harassed by.
Hey,
Yeah, okay.
you know it happens to the best of us, hopefully.
Sure.
And
Yeah, we all hoped. We all hoped for it.
well,
Yeah.
I can take it as I thought you took it as a compliment. You said that time, and the time you know that I'm referring to, and I don't know
Yeah.
the details, but if I got
So you're
you,
saying
like,
I'm outside somewhere, and you want me to have a.
I want you to
thing.
have like and it has like a thing that helps you write, because then you're not in. I as your brother heard your block today, and that was helpful. And like having Chelsie here, I think has been helpful to both of you.
Sure.
More so you, which I loved a lot. I have 2 topics that I want us to wrap this episode up on.
I need to go home at some point.
We're doing
No, we
Joe
stay
Rogan
we stay
numbers.
here till 6 a.m.
This is it. This is, I think, Kirk, we're going to do a 3-parter on this. Because then we could do Monday,
Three-parter?
Wednesday.
Oh.
What do you think? Yeah, right? Okay.
A saga, just
business.
like
Nah, we
Yeah,
just started.
Chelsie saga.
Anyways, thank you. Do you see how you've sparked joy in an idea that I could give my brother? And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Dear friend and comrade.
Yeah.
Communist style. The 2 topics I had, should I introduce them both or just introduce the next one and then try to go?
whatever you would like.
Okay, so Chelsie, I'd like you to ask Kirk, who is a mystery to you, I believe, some questions about the last 2 features he's been working on, and I think you will draw out of him things that will interest you. And even though you're tired, and even though we should have ended this easily a half hour ago,
No, I'm inspired.
God, if only a podcast inspired one person,
I'm very
it would be
inspired.
worth getting in this.
This makes me
market.
want to like write, like us just sitting here and talking. I'm like, gosh, I
No,
want to write
no,
now.
Oh, well, good.
You
I will
too?
shut up. I will shut up and let you and Kirk talk, because I do think I've given you enough to ask him a question, right? And that'll inspire some more questions.
I think so.
You Oprah the hell out of Nick Farx. I want you to Oprah the hell out of Kirk Farx.
No
Are you
pressure.
right? Are you writing?
Not currently, but well, I guess me and Cal are outlining.
Kyle and I.
Oh, sorry, Cal and I are
That's
writing
what a
out.
Kirk friend I am.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna outline for what you call it, thriller?
What?
No, thriller genre.
Oh, a thriller.
Yeah, film, and we're
Okay.
just right in the middle of it, of the outlining.
How does that work? Outlining something with 2 people?
It's
Is
3
that
people.
hard?
No, it's not too bad. Each week we just decide who writes for that week,
Oh.
and then we just
you like
kinda
tag team
spin
it.
ideas. Yeah.
Is one like, do you guys write in a similar way? I always wondered how people do that. I think like Meg and Kelly do that, don't they? Like they've written.
They do. Again,
Together.
Megan Kelly, partner
yeah.
of our October 11th event.
Yeah.
See, what you can do is just cut the first part of the episode out and put it at the front of all 3 parts of this, and then we'll just do it Monday. Anyways, yeah, they do write together. Sorry,
Yeah.
I will shut up.
I've
I'm
always
gonna
been intrigued by that because writing is such like a intimate thing with yourself. So like, how do you do it with somebody? Well, that sounds weird, but how are you intimate with Kyle in your writing process?
Since the outline, we don't really go. I don't think we go do that much detail on each scene. It's a quick summary. There isn't that much personality, I want to say. The style of writing doesn't change that much.
Really?
Yeah, because would you say so?
You guys criticize me for writing loser nerd when I'm referring to the one character's friends, because
Yeah,
I want it to
true.
be very clear that his friends are loser nerds, because I was in the Smart Kids Club
No.
in high school and middle school, and that sometimes ostracized you from the people who, were kissing girls.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe the
Oh my god.
the other person who's writing with us, she and I have the same writing style, and the Cal is a lot more blunt and
There's a girl in it
colorful.
too, so it's 3
Yeah,
people.
3 people.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
When's your deadline? When is it going to be done?
We missed a deadline so far,
There's a few deadlines we missed for sure. Yeah.
But this is the second one Kirk and I have done this way. We wrote a full feature.
Is this did you guys do the
Paprika
together?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
That was a good one.
It was.
The feature or the... he worked on the short, the Paprika.
Yeah, and the story in general is really good.
Thank you.
Nah.
No, well, she's referring to the short. He and I worked on the feature together. I don't...
Yeah, but I just love... I don't think I've seen the feature, but I just love this. Like, when I saw the short, I'm like, this could totally be a movie. And I loved it, like, as a parent.
Kirk wrote about half of the feature, I would say, because we did the same process where it was 3 people together meeting. And so what I thought might have been drawn out from you asking him questions is that we met on a weekly basis and, like, together for an hour, worked on outlining, and then would hand off writing week to week. And that's what we're gearing towards on the outlining we're doing on this current feature. So the Paprika feature was the last one we worked on. And then we met a friend at the Nashville Catalyst Festival we were at. And the 3 of us were like, okay, let's start working on a genre feature that could be based around our other friend who is let's say, and I know I'm allowed to say this, a 40-plus female, because she's been told as an actress, she's an actress first, she's been told she needs to write a genre feature. So it's like, okay, we had to write something specifically towards that.
Do you want to film it here? Produce it here?
So this would be the second feature that Kirk and I have written together with somebody else, and the first one was clearly a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
So, like, we were writing a Hallmark movie because Hallmark movies get made in Minnesota. Yes is the answer to your question, but my expectation is not that I will be able to make that feature tomorrow, because I guess I could hire a line producer, as you've done. I could hire a scheduler, as you've done. And then that would make it a more viable project. And, through that process, you might even improve the script. And Nick Farx has given detailed thoughts on the arcs of the characters in the script for the feature version of Paprika, based on the short that you've seen. And that get the script, the short existing gives me chain of title, which blah, blah, blah. We've all covered legal stuff before. But did you feel you've gotten an idea of what Kirk's been working on as a writer? Because I don't know if you knew Kirk was a writer. Obviously,
no, I had
all
no
of us work in
idea.
production.
Well, going back to, like...
Do you get in the flow with the universe as it flows through your brain and connects your hand to the paper?
I've read, like, I want to say 4 or 5 features on my own.
Yeah.
How do you, like, when
Scripts.
you write, if you've written that many, sorry, I'm, like, pushing this ottoman on you.
The ottoman is being pushed into Nick Fark's leg. He doesn't have a problem with it.
I'm so offended.
It's political and
I
private.
do not consent to have an ottoman pushed in my leg.
No. Have you been, like, wanting to, like, because you've written 5, have you been like, okay, I need to make these?
I mean, for sure, one of them.
Yeah.
More than the others. It's just a matter of, like, it's so much work to get people to read them, and then get a budget, and then, get a whole team and a crew together to make the film.
Yeah, it is an undertaking for sure. But I feel like, because you're going through all the work of writing them.
It should be made.
Or do you, like, enter them in contests or anything?
No, but I should. I definitely should.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing that much. And I've...
Not to, like, be like, you have to do this. But I'm just, like, curious, because if I had 5 features, I feel like I'd be, like, so proud of myself for writing 5 features.
Thank you.
Because that's a lot.
On the couch that you're looking at, Chelsie, I believe there are, between them, almost a whole 10 features written between the 2 of them.
Like, now's the time. I would produce the SHIT out of those.
You didn't. We've already said fucking shit on this podcast, and this is part 3 of a. We're gonna record, like, we're gonna end it, but so the last topic was I had invited. Well, Kirk opted out originally. Kirk and I watched the debate last night together, and I complained about both sides because the Democrat won.
That's the very politically correct thing to say.
Well, no, but, like, the Democrat won by saying, I'm friends with Dick Cheney. Like, okay, what? Dick Cheney? Hey, even Jon Stewart said, okay, never mind.
The way that voice
Well, sorry, I was
sounded like the gingerbread man from Shrek.
I was trying to do the gingerbread person from Shrek. Also, I own a gun, and China did COVID. It was definitely how the Democrat won the debate last night. No question who won. Anyways, but that wasn't what I was going for when I said that, Kirk. I was talking about how you didn't want to write on the present feature, which was something that I was going to. So Chelsea, you asked, how do you work with three people? I was going to try to recreate what I've been doing with Kirk and two other people on two different projects with you and Nick Farx. So you guys talked pretty long early in part 2 of this podcast. Do you think that'll work out to be
Tune in to part 2.
No. We're in part 3 right now.
You're in part 3.
You said urine. That's piss. Anyways, my point was that
like you're making a pseudo writer's room, essentially.
I found that creating a pseudo writer's room to get through a feature is something that sparks joy in me getting something done, because getting 90 pages is like, oh, you've done something. Okay, you've got 90 pages. And I've met with the people that you're trying to meet with, like you have, and it's like, no one's going to read your thing. Okay? So what you need to do is either have a short or get a lot of people to follow you. You know what would be even better? Both.
I disagree with the short.
Hot
take.
No, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think people end up making features over shorts.
Yeah, I don't think, I think people can make really impressive shorts, but they don't, I haven't seen somebody get anywhere from it. You know what I mean?
There are
It's a lot of work to make
You
a
have
short,
to get into
too.
very, very specific, like we've talked about with our horror stuff that's skewed horror. Like I said, well, we got to get into Scream Fest in LA. And if we don't get into Scream Fest, who gives a fuck? And we can't get into Scream Fest. So even with our best stuff. So like Scream Fest is it's like, who's going to the festivals?
But even if the best people go there, at the end of the day, you guys have way more experience than me, and you have way more equipment.
On producing stuff, sure. And that's for when we end this.
But yeah, I'm just saying, you guys can easily make your own movies, and it's a lot of work, yeah. But you're alive, you might as well work.
Do the thing that they suggest, which is figure out a way to do it in the course of 2 weekends and a week in between up at a cabin somewhere.
I have a cabin you guys can use. I'm serious.
Okay, so stay tuned. Wait, are we enough for 3 parts yet?
I have a ton of woods that could look creepy.
Lots of woods.
Because it's a thriller, right? Or what? Horror?
No.
Thriller?
The point. No.
Yeah,
The point I was making is there was a the advice that they give everyone is no one's going to read your feature. No one's you're trying to make your movie, and you're trying to make it at a 7 budget range. But the best thing to do would be if you can make a movie over 9 days that bring a bunch of people to a cabin and kill them. People always watch those movies, and maybe yours will be good. Probably not, but it doesn't matter because you can always sell genre movies. So go up to a cabin, make one of those. I'm trying to think of the famous Hollywood script doctor that has that philosophy. I apologize, and now I was trying to think of the guy who recommended it to me. He's got a movie called Searchlight that's going to be in Twin Cities Film Festival. His girlfriend's name is Raina. And I'm okay with forgetting a name at this point in the podcast because, again, I think we're on part 3. Can we make 3 of this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, any final thoughts? We got into some baits. There was baits. Nick nodded. Nick saying
got really heated in here.
I acknowledge that. Yeah, there's a little bit of
wild.
debating.
Well, the point is to disagree because if you can disagree about what?
I'm kidding. I said I'm offended.
Oh well. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Chelsea?
I think that there is my final thought. This has to be good. It's my final.
No, it truly doesn't. Did you see the
I would say there's no
night?
better time than now to make your thing. And if you don't know how to do it, you don't have any excuse not to learn because everything is on YouTube. Everything is accessible. And if you can't learn it, find someone who knows it, work with them, build the team around you, and stop being so humble. Because you deserve to get paid well for what you do and your work. You deserve to it's okay for you to say, I want to make this and I want to make a lot of money. making it because it's my time. It's your life. You're putting your life into this art. And I know it's like you're supposed to be like, yeah. I mean, if people like want to pay me for it, or if someone wants to buy it, like that's people, it comes off as that's like what you're supposed to do. But like, no, it's your time. Like, it's your time you're putting into this. You deserve to get paid. And like, if you're going to make something, make it really good. Put your whole heart into it. Because even if it sucks, like you're going to be like, that sucks. But I put everything I knew in that season into that. So I'm like really proud of it. And the next thing's going to be better. Because look how much I learned from that. And yeah.
Could you explain Seasons of Life real quick? I know we're trying to end this, but I was like, you said it twice.
It sounds like a Backstreet Boys song.
Or a song from Rent.
We all...
So like, you know how we all, like, what I've learned about myself is how much my opinions change on things in different seasons of my life based on, like, some things seem so important. Some things seem like I'll have a message I feel like is so important for people to hear, right, in a season of life. And then in another season, I might look back like years later and I'm like, okay, that's not as important to me as it used to be, right? We, like, based on our experiences and where we're at life and, like, what we're doing, some things are so important to us that we, like, feel like we have to scream it from the rooftops, and I think that we should. But 5 to 10 years from then, you might not care about that thing anymore, and that's fine. I think that's another thing people worry about is because art is kind of like the public can see where you were at in a certain time of your life, and you might not be that person anymore. And I think people are afraid of that because they're like, oh gosh, like that was when I was kind of like closed-minded, immature. I thought this, but I don't think that anymore. But there's this permanent mark of where I was at, and people are going to judge me for it.
Social media presents us with that opportunity.
And I'm just like, I'm totally cool with it. I'm like, if I make this movie, there are so many reasons why I shouldn't make this movie. Like, so many reasons that I can convince myself that it's a bad idea. But, like, if I don't make it, I'm not going to get better. And, like, if it ends up being bad, like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you're doing, basically, too.
But you appreciated the time that you spent in it, and you've already talked about keeping people's attention, and so...
Well, I'm teaching myself, I'm proving to myself that I can be accountable to myself. Right? Like, I'm respecting myself by being accountable to setting a goal for myself and achieving it. And so I'm proving myself that I can trust myself to achieve something that I set out for myself. And it gives me more confidence as a person. And it makes me a better leader and person in my family. And then it's showing my kids that mom wanted to do something that was so far-fetched, but she tried her best. And it did work out or it didn't work out, who cares? She's showing us that, like, no matter what we want to do, we're going to put all of our effort into it. Because all that matters is doing your best. Like what they say to little kids, right? It doesn't matter if you win or lose. If you kicked ass at it and you did everything you could to be good at it, then that's all that matters. So you have to do that to yourself as an adult.
I want to come back to you, Chelsie, to end the night, but I just want to go through the brothers. Because this is a bate podcast with the Farx Brothers, a movie bate podcast. Nick Farx, as the elder Farx.
I am the eldest. I am 40.
Just could you recap your thoughts for this part 3 of what will be a 3-part, our first interview in honor of democracy and respecting last night's debate. What do you feel you've gotten out of this evening as our first interview for the podcast, episode 27, 20, it doesn't matter.
24.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of insight into, I guess, writing, your thoughts on writing process, even though initially that's not what we were talking about. We talked about it when we got to me, right?
When you made the interview about you.
When you made
I made it about him.
No, it was so cool that you did. I've never been more pumped in this podcast.
You made it about me by calling me up, but that and I don't know. I mean,
it was nice to hear your thoughts tonight.
Sure, there you go.
Kirkland.
He's
Farx.
speechless. He's so impressed that he's speechless.
He's so impressed. No, trust me, because that's what everyone's like the first time they meet you, including that person.
I was totally kidding.
No,
right?
I know you were, but
Okay.
I was yes-anding your joke because I don't often get to yes-and in a creative space with tech salespeople, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
Kirkland Farx, you knew I was coming to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I appreciate Chelsie being here and giving us a positive perspective on writing. It's great. I think it's true. You gotta really have a positive spin on writing and just being in the moment. And it doesn't have to be this big thing. It could just be, this is what you're doing and you're gonna make something of it. And I think it's great. I think it's a great mentality to have. But for me, I guess I'm a bit of a pessimist. So it's a nice change of pace for sure.
See what you did for these people, Chelsie. Oh man! So that's why we're gonna end it on you. You're gonna get the last word when we're done. Just give Kirk a finger guns because he shuts the podcast off. I'm not in charge of anything. But could you just tell us how your first podcast experience was? Speak to the Dr. Ben right now and tell him, hey, honey, what is
the poor guy?
What is the pitch you're giving him? Wait, are the kids like?
No, he just cleaned the whole house. He just texted me. They had and it was really messy, so he cleaned the house and he put all the kids to bed.
I cleaned the bathroom because I thought you would have to use it, and usually at Mank Abe's studio we don't go inside to use the bathroom.
Stop. You cleaned the bathroom?
No,
that's like so nice.
Just mostly the toilet.
No, you.
I was here yesterday. You didn't clean the bathroom at all.
You cleaned the back of it, I bet.
Man, but it wasn't because of me this time.
I do want to just like really, what was I going to say? I lost it already.
It
was basically like, I just want to say like, oh, no, I wasn't saying it to him. I was just saying like,
the house, Dr. Ben.
I was just saying like, live and write. Like, this is something I remind myself too sometimes when I'm writing. Sometimes I think that writers or creatives think that like, okay, once I get somebody to buy this, or once I like, let's say a producer gets me in, then things will change. And I think you need to act and behave as if you're already a paid writer and as if you're already like Spielberg level. Like, you guys might have already heard this, but like, wake up as if you're already like a millionaire. What does a millionaire do? Do they wake up early? Do they work out and then they write? You should write as if somebody said, I'll give you $1 million if you finish the script. I don't know. I think that's helpful advice. That's what I tell myself a lot. I'm like, am I acting like a loser today or am I acting like a winner? Am I doing what a loser would do or am I doing what a winner would do? You act like the people you want to be, and then you'll like evolve into them.
Well, thank you, Chelsie, for being with us tonight. I think it was great feedback, great positive energy.
3-part podcast.
Join us for the next debate, which is
it's Abdi who's coming for you know Abdi.
No, but what's the film?
We haven't. You know that we haven't decided that. You're in the chat. It could be the James McAvoy. Like, do you want it to be the James McAvoy horror movie we've been seeing a trailer for 3 months?
I've seen a million trailers for it now, so I guess I might as well see the fucking movie. But like,
so it might be that next week. Who knows? You're finding this out on a Friday, I assume. Anyways,
that came before it, and then base my opinion on that.
Lovely.
That I'm sure doesn't have a happy ending. Where I'm sure the Blumhouse movie has a happy ending.
Oh, come on. Okay, let Chelsie just say something kind to get us out, and then finger gun Kirk.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I did.
No, you
Should
did.
I do it
Totally.
again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Chelsea's going to do it. Chelsea's going to do it. Don't worry. She's
Whether
going to do it.
you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Bye.